Today is count day here in the state of Michigan for students to be counted, and that's how districts get paid here in Michigan, by the number of students that they have in their seats on count day. And so we're talking about school attendance because of that today and the importance of school attendance. And no better person that I know of nationally to talk about attendance is the executive director of Attendance Works out of San Francisco, California, Hedy Chang. And Hedy, I know the biggest thing that Attendance Works does is focus on chronic absences. That's where I learned that term. So explain a little bit what your mission is for Attendance Works and how did your organization get started?
Absolutely. So Terry, our mission is to advance student success and narrow equity gaps by reducing chronic absence. I got started in this work in 2006 when a guy named Ralph Smith from the Anna Casey Foundation asked me to find out whether kids missing too much school in kindergarten and first might be a reason they aren't reading at third grade. And I thought, of course, that would be an issue. What I realized as I did that work was that we actually weren't monitoring this at all. We looked at truancy, unexcused absences. We looked at average daily attendance. We didn't look at how many kids were missing so much school for any reason that they might be academically at risk. And it turned out that we finally could get a hold of some data that was not a sample of data. We realized it was 1 out of 10 kids probably nationally in kindergarten and first. And that this preceded all of the issues that we're worried about in high school. You know, we were losing kids when they're babies and I realized I looked at a high poverty district at the time. It actually was Cleveland, realized that Cleveland had 40% of its kindergartners chronically absent at the time. And I thought, oh my God, we've lost a generation. By the way, when I finally we helped Detroit public schools to crunch their numbers. It was 55% of all their kids who were chronically absent, and absences were higher in the elementary grades than in the high school grades. And I think that's because kids had actually started to drop out before they can even get into high school. Folks never crunched their numbers, so they didn't realize that this was an enormous problem. And so how we got started off was just by getting kids, like sounding this alarm, take a look at your data. And we created data tools and resources to help people understand it was an issue. Since then, we've really expanded. We work on multiple levels. We work at the local, the state, and the national level. We work on the local level to help schools and communities develop innovative practice and find out and leverage practices that are in place from other folks. We work at the state level so that states can think about how can their state policies support this work and advance this work and actually get rid of some of our not so effective attendance practices. And then we work nationally to build national awareness. So we have an attendance awareness campaign that we launch every year. This year it's Rebound with Attendance. And our website is how we spread all of our knowledge. It's a treasure trove of free resources, if you will, Terry. You know, it's www.attendanceworks.org. And what I would say is that the good news is that we know there are a number of proven strategies and you can use. Schools and communities partnering together with families and students to get kids back to school and solve attendance barriers. Our website offers you tools and resources that we're garnering from all across the country. They won't exactly be right for you. Every school community, this isn't cookie cutter. You got to know your community, know your families, know the languages, know the culture, know the issues, but you don't want to start from scratch. You want to build on what already we're existing about, what we know about what works and what doesn't, and then tailor it to the realities of your own schools and communities and have it delivered by the people who schools and families in your communities trust. And that will get you a long ways.
We'll be back with more tomorrow. For Dateline Schools, I'm Terry.